ready for the science lecture. So before that, I will start sharing my screen. So be attentive. Okay. Now, as you all know, my name is Fatan Arifa Khatun. I'm from Worli CPS English Municipal Secondary School, and today we are here for studying Science 1 lecture. In the same chapters, there is carbon an important element. But before that, we'll revive whatever we have learned yesterday. So we all know that we have started with carbon, and yesterday we have seen about the occurrence of carbon. Okay, carbon is found in the atmosphere, inside the Earth's surface, and in fact in all living organisms. Carbon is present in fuels also, like wood, coal, charcoal, everything. Carbon is present in compounds like carbonates, hydrogen, carbonates. Carbon is found in free state like diamond graphite fullerenes and as well as combined state like carbon dioxide, carbonates, hydrogen carbonates and all. Okay. So next we have also seen the allotropic nature of carbon. Allotropy means there are some elements in the nature like and one of them is carbon. Uh, it has different allotropes and their chemical properties are same, but their physical appearance is different. So such property is called allotropy. Okay. So the example which goes along with carbon possessing allotropy are sulfur and phosphorus. After that, we have seen the combined state and allotropes of carbon. Like the crystalline form, it contains diamond graphite fullerene. Today we will be seeing graphite and fullerene. And non-crystalline form, that is coal, charcoal, and coke. Later on, we'll see this. Properties of carbon or allotropic nature of carbon. Now, if it is the crystalline form, then it has a regular arrangement of atoms. They have high melting and boiling point. Plus, they have a proper geometrical shape. Again, the three crystalline forms, the one we have right now studying, that is diamond. Another one we'll be continuing in this lecture. It is graphite and fullerene. Then diamond, we have seen that diamonds are in India. Diamonds are found in Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, in Karnataka, Golconda, and in Madhya Pradesh, Panna. Then apart from India, diamonds are also found in South Africa, Brazil, Belgium, Russia, and America. Structure of diamond, it is given here. That is, 4 carbon atoms are joined by a single covalent bond, and hence it gives a tetragonal shape, three-dimensional shape to diamond. Also, diamond is very hard. Properties of diamond, it is very hard, and its density is 3.5. Melting point is 3,500, and it does not dissolve because it is very hard. Therefore, it does not dissolve in any solvent, or it does not have any effect on acid and bases. Does not have any effect. Uh, they don't give any effect on diamond. Also, diamond is a bad conductor of electricity because it does not have free electrons. Uses of diamond, the very well known is it is used in ornaments, then it is used in eye surgery, then it is used for polishing other diamonds. Sometimes it is also used in space also, in space windows for protection from harmful radiations. Okay. Then after that, we'll be seeing after completing diamond, one of the crystalline form, we are now moving towards the new topic, that is graphite, Graphite. Graphite. And later on, after graphite, we'll be seeing fullerene. That is also a crystalline form of carbon. Okay, so if you are talking about graphite, then we must know. Okay, I hope you all are carrying your textbooks with you all, and we are on chapter number 13. You also know this. So talking about graphite, we'll first see about its existence, and where graphite is found, then the structure same. See, this is the structure of graphite. Isn't it too much shiny? And we can see some layers one above the other. One above the other, there are many layers. And plus it is shiny also. So speaking about graphite, first we'll let us know okay, how graphite is found in India and India. Our India is so prosperous that we get many things in India, and we have innumerable resources from um, which we can make, which we can take into our life, use into our lives and make something useful from it. So in India also graphite is found. Then the lead, which we used in pencils. We all use pencils, isn't it? हम लोग सब pencil का इस्तेमाल करते हैं. And the thing which is used for writing, it is nothing but made from graphite. But the lead which is used, it is not totally graphite. It is a mixture. The lead which is used for write in a pencil, it is actually made by mixing graphite with clay. This process was discovered by Nicholas Jacques Conti in the year 1975. I hope you are all are seeing the screen, and you'll come to know about the structure of graphite and its appearance also. Name. Wait. Okay. After its occurrence or where it is found, let us see about the structure of graphite. This similar structure you could see in your textbook on page number 140. All the dots, they are nothing but the carbon atoms, and here also uh, the graphite is bonded with a single bond only. From the figure we can see graphite and structure of carbon atom in graphite. If you'll study about its point, the structure of graphite, it is every carbon atom in graphite is bonded to three other carbon atoms in such a way that a hexagonal layered structure is formed. Isn't it? Can you see it clearly? Every carbon atom is bonded to three carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3. If you'll go on observing it, three are bonded together. And they are bonded in such a way that a hexagonal layered structure is formed. Hexagon means six-sided structure. A graphite crystal is made up of many sheets of layers of carbon atoms. One graphite sheet or a crystal of graphite is made up of many layers of carbon. These layers slip over each other on applying pressure. When you press with your hand, no, suppose if you are holding between your thumb and your forefinger and you will try to press it, it will get slipped. What is the reason behind this? It is because of the different layers of carbon. One layer of graphite is called graphene. Listen it carefully. Huh? I will be asking you in the evaluation session. One layer of graphite is called graphene. Spelling is very easy. Graphite, graphene. Graphite is Graphite and graphene Graphene. Okay. So this was about the structure of graphite. Important thing to remember here is every carbon atom in graphite is bonded to three other carbon atoms, and it gives it a hexagonal layered structure. Next, properties of graphite. But before properties of graphite, I would like to share one thing with you, which is in your uh, textbook given itself an activity. I will just tell you, and you can try to do that. See, there's one activity on page number 141 on the top. And the setup is also given, and plus the apparatus. And the apparatus or the requirement, we can say, requirement, what is needed to do that activity is very, what you can say, easily available, easily available. Like pencil, electric wires, battery or cell, small bulb, water, kerosene, test tubes, lead, pencil, etc. All we acquire it. है ना? What is the procedure for that? We have to just see whether graphite is a good conductor of electricity or not. If the bulb glows, when the wire, when the cell, everything is attached, when the key is attached, all the things are properly arranged, and if the bulb glows, it means graphite is a good conductor of electricity. All you have to do is remove the lead from the pencil. Okay, remove the lead from the pencil. That means you have to sharpen it and fill it with your finger. It should be nicely sharpened. What color it is? Yes, it is grayish in color. Try to break the lead with your hand. Try to break it. It will get into pieces. Assemble the apparatus as shown. Assemble the apparatus as shown. That is two-sided lead. You will attach with the pin over there and start the electric current. You will connect the wire with the cell as well as with the bulb. Take some water in a test tube. Take some another in the kerosene in another test tube. Put lead dust in both the test tube. What you would find? See, when the bulb will glow, first conclusion we will draw, that is, graphite is a good conductor of electricity. Then after that, take some water in a test tube. Test tube, in one test tube water, in another test tube kerosene. Put the lead dust, that is the powder dust of the lead, in water also and in kerosene also. What you can observe. At that time, you will come to know that is a question for you. If you perform that activity, you will just come to know, okay, whether lead dissolve in water or whether lead dissolve in kerosene. These two things will come to know with the two test tubes. So this activity is not included for you students this year, but just I have gone through. Then we'll talk about the properties of graphite. Okay, what are the properties of graphite? The first one is graphite found in nature is black, soft, brittle, and slippery. Soft, black, I have shown you. In that slide, I have shown you it is so shiny, blackish, shiny. Soft also, when you feel with your fingers, it will slip. So that means it is soft. Brittle, if brittle means what? The things which breaks easily on falling down, like chalk, like your glass. So the same property, it is possessed by graphite also. It is slippery also. Second, inside each layer of graphite, free electrons move continuously within the entire layer. That is why graphite is a good conductor of electricity. This thing we have seen with the diamond also. Diamond does not conduct electricity, bad conductor. The reason was it was very hard. There is no place to move electrons. But here, the layers, the carbon layers, due to which it becomes slippery. It has free space. So that free space is used by the electrons. They move continuously within that all layers. And that is why graphite conducts electricity, and hence it is known as good conductor. Third one, due to layered structure, graphite can be used for writing on paper. This another advantage. Fourth, the density of graphite is 1.9 to 2.3 gram per centimeter cube. It is again less than that of diamond. Diamond is 3.5 and density of graphite is 1.9, say 2.3 gram per centimeter cube. Fifth one, graphite. Though graphite is not hard as diamond, but the thing is, it does not dissolve in most solvents. It does not dissolve in most of the solvents. So this was about the properties of graphite. Next is the same. You might be knowing uses of graphite. Uses of graphite. The very first one, graphite is used in pencils for writing. And this has become very easy for you. The lead which is mixed with which is used which is made by mixing graphite and clay, and that one is used for writing. No, so in short or directly we can write graphite is used in pencils for writing. Second one, graphite is used in paints and polishes also, or paints normally which we use for painting the different things, and polishes also. Then third one, graphite is used for making lubricants. Lubricants means the grease which are used in machines to run the machines or some other equipments. Mostly the machines only, and in the vehicles also, to run the machines smoothly. Like lubricants or the grease. If you have seen grease, it is a sticky material which when added to the parts of the machines run smoothly. Fourth one, graphite is used in arc lamps, which gives a very bright light. Now these arc lamps, they are nothing but initially they were used for street lights also. Street lights. Actually, they give a very bright light. Uh, the structure is made in such a way, it is an arc shape, and therefore, uh, whatever the light that is emitted from that bulb or that bulb or from that particular light, so it gets emitted very nicely. So for that also, for that purpose, graphite is used in arc lamps. Arc lamps are such lamps which gives a very bright light. Fifth one, graphite is used for making carbon electrodes. Graphite is used for making carbon electrodes. This one another I have I have reshuffled it. Graphite is used for making carbon electrodes. Now these carbon electrodes, they are used for performing certain experiments. So that's why graphite is used for making carbon electrodes. Okay, so this was about the properties of graphite. I hope you might remember it, and you are learning it properly, and as well as the uses of graphite. Now, second, we have completed the second allotrope of crystalline form of carbon. That was graphite, and earlier to it was diamond. So two we have finished, diamond, and the second one, graphite. Now let's come to the third one. That is the fullerene. Third one, fullerene. I hope you are watching this slide as well as your textbook, and you might be matching both this structure. It is the same which is given in your page number 141, 13.5. Fifth figure it is. This is what the structure of fullerene. Okay, this is the structure of fullerene. Fullerene Let us see about its occurrence. It is rarely found in nature. It is found in soot. Soot is nothing but the blackish powder whenever something is burned. Soot is nothing but a blackish powder and very fine powder, soot, SWT, and interstellar space. Interstellar space means what? Spaces between the stars. It is also, we all know it is an allotrope of carbon. Yes. The first example of fullerene is Buckminster fullerene. Spelling is quite different. Huh? Too long, not very hard, but too long. Buckminster fullerene C60. This allotrope of carbon is named after the architect Richard Buckminster Fuller because the structure resembles a dome which he designed. Actually, there is no any relevancy between the Sir Richard Buckminster Fuller and fullerene. He has not discovered it. Only the name of fullerene is given after the name of the architect Sir Richard Buckminster Fullerene. Why? Because he had designed a dome-shaped building. Dome-shaped building or a building which has many domes. Domes means what? Which has a rounded structure, like like the one which a masjid has, no? So that is a dome shape, and sometimes it is called as Gothic structures also. So the hereafter the name came to be known as fullerene. Then Sir Harold Proto, Robert Curl, and Richard Smalley were given the Nobel Prize in the year 1996 for the discovery of fullerene C60. So actually, who were the discoverer or who were the inventors of fullerene? Sir Harold Proto, Robert Curl, and Richard Smalley. They were the discoverers of fullerene C60. And for this hard work, all of them were awarded with the prestigious Nobel Prize in the year 1996. Other examples of fullerene are C60, C70, C76, C82, C86. These are the other examples of fullerenes, but their molecules occur in a very small number. The molecule occurs in a very small number. So you could be asked what are the other examples of fullerene. So you must be able to write C60, C70, C76, C82, and C86 are some of the examples, other examples of fullerene. So this was about fullerene. Only the structure or its invention. Later on, after this one, we are going to see the properties of fullerene. Let us see one by one. Okay. Properties of fullerene. The first one, molecules of fullerenes are found in the form of buckyballs and buckytubes. We have seen about fullerene, its structure also, which is given on page number 141. So it is the structure which is known as buckyballs and buckytubes. There are 30 to 900 carbon atoms in one molecule of fullerene. There are 30 to 900 carbon atoms in one molecule of fullerene. So many, but one molecule, if you could see, it would be very small, but it consists of 30 to 900 carbon atoms. And Third one, fullerenes are soluble in organic solvents such as carbon disulfide and chlorobenzene. Fullerene is soluble. Fullerene is soluble in organic solvents which are prepared organically. That solvents which are named, the names are carbon disulfide and chlorobenzene. These are the solvents in which fullerene is soluble. Okay, so only three properties were there. Please remind it or see it carefully and be ready for the question answers. Last one about fullerene is the uses of fullerenes. Let us see it one by one. Again, there are only three uses of fullerenes. They are the number one, fullerenes are used as insulators. Fullerenes are used as insulators. Insulators means we have everyone of us know about the wires which we used in for electrical purposes. Yes, wire. So the metal which conduct electricity is inside of that plastic material, and the plastic material which covers the metal, copper, aluminum, whatever, that is actually an insulator. Second one, fullerenes are used as catalyst in water purification. Catalyst. This is also a new word. It is a catalyst is it is a concept which keeps the rate of reaction constant. And when water purification is done, so fullerene is used as a catalyst. Third one, at a certain temperature, fullerenes exhibits superconductivity. Good conductors of electricity. They require certain temperatures, and at that particular temperature, they show superconductivity. That is simple. They conduct electricity. Okay. So this was all about today's lecture about graphite and fullerene, and along with this graphite and fullerene, we have also covered the other two crystalline forms of carbon. That was the very first one was diamond, the second one was graphite, and the last one, that is third, it was fullerene. And we have seen the occurrence, properties, and uses of all these three. So after finishing this, let's move to our evaluation part. Okay. Now, student, you get ready for answering the questions. Okay. Let me first take it. Okay. Supriya teacher, hello. Hello, Supriya teacher.
Hello.
So now